Hey everybody, John O'Connor here again, and today I think we're going to be opening a can of worms. Prerequisite to this video, I am not recording this to antagonize anybody, to offend anyone. This video is strictly to have a conversation about a difficult topic. It's not to give a shock value, it's not to jump my ratings. I'm expecting a few dislikes from this, if not complete dislikes. You know, I don't blame you if you're one of the 2 or 3 people who's constantly putting likes on my video and you're like this time like, hey, I just can't stand behind you, here's a dislike. That's fine. That is your right, you're entitled to it. I'm not going to try to convince you otherwise. So, 2013, August 14th, I posted a very open-ended question on the YouTube RPG Brigade. How does cancer work in your game? And I'll put a link to the discussion in the description. But I was recently rereading this, thinking, just bored and going through Facebook and rereading old things, and a comment stuck out to me from Ginny Green. Now, Ginny Green is another poster on the YouTubes. She's actually one of the 2 channels that actually made me want to start posting videos. Hers and Andrew Woods, I mean, those were the ones I was like, alright, now I want to start doing it. But on August 15th, 2013, 3:54 a.m. my time in Texas, she posted this. My grandpa died of brain cancer when I was 6. D&D is not a place to talk about such threatening real-life issues. If there is a sickness in our game, it is lycanthropy, red plague, or something completely else unrelated. Now, I read that, and I want to argue, but I'm not. What I heard there, after rereading it again, is cancer will never be brought up in one of her games. Which is fine. Those are her games. It does not make hers any less good than the next person. Everybody has social taboos in their particular games that they are not willing to cover or talk about. Me personally, it's gangrene. My father died of gangrene, so I personally would not be comfortable talking about such a thing in somebody else's campaign. I would not be happy if that card was dealt to me. You know, I always talk about you need to be doing everything that your characters, your players are comfortable with. Yes, you should push the envelope. Yes, you should challenge them morally, but you shouldn't do things that are directly going to upset them or offend them. And if cancer's on that short list, don't do a story about that. Plain and simple. But this is my problem with what was posted there. D&D is not a place to talk about such threatening real-life issues. I have to disagree with that. It's not right for your game? Fine. I'm not going to try to push it on you. I'm not going to try to say, hey, this is the way you should be doing shit. End of story. No. What I am getting at, though, is D&D covers murder, and in my stories, there's been rape, incest, Alzheimer's, and cancer. These are very dark, gritty things. Yes, it's a fantasy setting, but we give it horrible real-life things to ground it, to give you a point of going, I'm not just spending 1 week a night pretending that something's going on and playing a video game. I'm actually getting emotionally invested in characters. And when they're just as weak and fragile and can have just as shitty past, futures, or present as I can, yeah, I root for them a little bit more. So to hear that statement of D&D is not the place to cover real-world issues, why? That's what it baffles me. It upsets me to an extent, but I understand why it was said. I'm not trying to say you have to play a certain way, or you have to talk about controversial subjects. But there comes a point in time where you have to say to yourself, what can my campaign, what can my world setting cover and be about? And to hear that it can't cover real life issues, then why are you playing? That's where I stand on it. Yes, there's the fantasy diseases. I use those too. Yes, there's fantasy poisons. You know, don't get me wrong, the fantasy elements make me want to come back and play. But it's the real life shit, like loving somebody, like losing someone you love, you know, having to watch them wither and die because of extenuating circumstances that you can't control. You know, that's the shit that makes me want to come back and play again next week, to try to bring them back, or try to avenge their death. So, my problem isn't about cancer. My problem isn't about any of the other controversial subjects that I've already talked about. My problem is that people want to say that fantasy is fantasy and real world is real world, but when I watch a show on television, why can they talk about real world things when it's all just a bunch of make-believe characters, but I can't talk about real world things in my D&D group? That's what I have a hard time trying to get my brain around. And a lot of people who attacked, I don't want to say attacked me, because they didn't attack me, they had every right to say what they said, and they're in the complete right for what they said, just like I'm in the complete right for what I said. There was no wrong answers posted on there if you were there to have a discussion about the subject matter. You know, so don't think I'm trash talking anybody, don't think I'm trying to start a feud. Everybody was in the right to post what they posted because that's the way they felt. But if your story can cover lost love, can conquer, you know, hiding family secrets, why can't it cover seeing someone suffer or pass away from extenuating circumstances that you just can't control? As soon as you put a label on it that it's a magical disease, it kind of pisses off the player when they go, well, let me go find the DC for it, let me go do this, let me go do that. But when it's something like, and I hate to say the words again because, yeah, I'm not trying to be controversial, but it's going to sound like it. Alzheimer's and cancer, here we are in the 21st century still trying to figure out cures for these things. And so, to go, okay, we're still working on a cure here, that explains why there's no chance of a cure in this fantasy medieval world. You know, when I hear, hey, so-and-so got one of those two things, I don't think, okay, let's go on a quest to go bring them the miracle cure or something. I think, okay, well, it's something beyond our control, and it's just a sad fact of life in this world. But as soon as I hear it's mummy rot, it's lycanthropy, I've read the book. I know there's cures. I know there's ways to fix magical diseases. So that's why I keep the real ones in our world that don't really have cures. You know, it's not something, it shouldn't be your go-to. I'm not saying it should be, but I have a very dear friend of mine whose name is Maria. And since I've known her, she has been battling cancer. And she's always a good sport about it. She's always smiling, she's always happy. She has her good days, she has her bad days. But she's constantly fighting. And I love her to death. If she needed a kidney tomorrow, I'd be the first one there. I'd be like, okay, take it. And, you know, I look at someone like that and I go, I feel that I have a deeper connection because she shared that part of her life with me. Because she let me into her inner circle and told me about this. And, you know, she texts me occasionally, you know, when she's having a really good day or having a really bad day. So why can't I take that element of a relationship that I have and apply it to an NPC and a player character? I mean, those are real emotions, and when you put reality into an NPC, they come off a lot better. You know, when they have their own interest and views and flaws and wants, you know, it's a three-dimensional character now. Suddenly you have a reason to care about them. On the same hand, I knew somebody by the name of Gene Farrell Parsons who molested and was getting ready to go to prison before I met him. Started telling everybody that he had cancer and that he was going to leave San Antonio, Texas, where some of the best cures for these diseases are being made, and go to New Mexico to go get treatment. So I've seen real cancer and the relationship it builds, and fake cancer and the relationships those build. So those are two very personable experiences to me that go, huh, that's what came of those. That's what came from being in the inner circle of somebody who's suffering every day and being in the inner circle of someone who was lying every day. Those are horrible things that I've experienced and been through, or one's horrible and the other one's very empowering. I'm sorry to say that was, I'm sorry that I phrased it that way. Maria's story is very empowering, and every day that she has a great day, I'm happy. And anytime I'm having a bad day and I want to go bitch to her about it, she puts my ass in check. So that's why I love her. And it's, you know, I look at that relationship, and I'm always trying to take things from my real life and put them into my campaigns. So I'm left with the question yet again. Some people are going to say that D&D is not the place to talk about real life issues, but I'm firmly in the camp of it should be. It should be allowed. There's no reason it shouldn't be. And, you know, great story writers and great storytellers draw inspiration from the real life. And so someday I'm hoping to use that relationship that I have with Maria in a D&D story to convey those points, to talk about those things. And I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. You know, where do you stand on these issues? Again, I appreciate anybody who's going to leave comments. I'm not going to ask for likes or shares on this video. If you watch this, you don't like it, you're more than welcome to put a dislike. But don't be afraid to leave a comment today. I really want to have a conversation about this that's intelligent and, you know, some good points and counterpoints. As always, I thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed if you stuck through this entire thing. Have a good day.